You're not going to believe this, because honestly, neither did anyone else at first. This isn't one of those clickbait royal stories or a rumor tossed around in tabloids. No, this one comes straight from the whispers buried under polished palace statements and neatly typed press releases. It's about the one story the royal family really doesn't want people to talk about. The story of a little girl who might just be the biggest royal mystery of our time, Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. Now, we've all heard the fairy tale version, right? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the couple who said enough to the crown, packed up their royal baggage, and moved to sunny California to start fresh. Then, on June 4th, 2021, they announced the birth of their second child, a beautiful baby girl, Lilibet Diana, named after Queen Elizabeth's childhood nickname and Princess Diana herself. It was symbolic, emotional, and honestly, it sounded like a dream. A bridge between royal tradition and Hollywood freedom. The media went wild. Headlines screamed, "A princess is born in California." Photos of a glowing Meghan, a proud Harry, and a baby wrapped in soft sunlight spread across every screen on Earth. It was picture perfect. Too perfect, because behind that beautiful image, a small, strange detail was waiting to explode. It started with one single number, a tiny code printed at the bottom of what looked like Lilibet's official birth certificate. Everyone saw it and thought nothing of it, until someone realized something was off. You see, every US state has a birth code that identifies where a child was born. For California, that number is always 104. But the code on Lilibet's certificate, it read 105. Wait, what? 105? That number doesn't belong to California at all. It's registered to Colorado. Imagine that. A birth certificate that says California. But the internal code screams Colorado. That's not a typo. That's a red flag. It's like holding a passport that says born in London, but the barcode inside leads to Lisbon. You can't just brush that off. And that's not even the strangest part, because when people looked closer, another problem popped up. Harry's name on the certificate was listed as His Royal Highness, the Duke of Sussex. Sounds fancy, right? Regal, elegant, except California law doesn't allow that. You can't use royal titles or honorifics on any legal state document. It's strictly names only. No His Royal Highness, no Duchess of anything. If the certificate was real and Californian, it should have just said Henry Charles Albert David. That's it, period. So why did the royal title appear on a document that was supposedly official? The answer came a few weeks later, and it shocked everyone digging into the truth, because when a journalist tried to verify the certificate directly with California's Vital Records Office, the state's reply was chillingly simple. No record found. Not restricted, not sealed, just non-existent. There was no record of Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor being born in California, not in Santa Barbara, not anywhere. Instead of a birth certificate, the state issued what's called a Certificate of No Public Record. That's the same kind of form you get when someone doesn't exist in the system. Let that sink in. The entire world was celebrating the birth of a royal baby who, according to California's records, wasn't even there. And the story gets darker. The doctor listed on that mysterious birth certificate was Dr. Melissa Drake, an obstetrician supposedly present at the birth. But just days after that big royal announcement, Dr. Drake shut down her medical practice completely. No notice, no farewell, no interviews. She left a short note to her patients saying she wanted to focus on health and family. Then, she disappeared. Her husband? He runs a fertility clinic. Now, doesn't that sound interesting? Because suddenly, that one detail turned a confusing story into a whispering storm. If her husband specialized in fertility treatments and Dr. Drake was named on the royal baby's delivery papers, could this explain all the secrecy? Could this be the connection no one was supposed to notice? Dr. Drake vanished from the public eye just as the world started asking questions. No press, no medical statements, no trace. It was as if someone had erased her from the story completely. And from that moment on, everything about Lilibet's birth, every beautiful photo, every headline, every official word from the palace started to look different, because if the code didn't match, the doctor disappeared and the state said no record existed. Then what really happened at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital that day? The whispers grew louder. Did Meghan actually give birth to Lilibet, or was something else going on behind palace curtains? Because here's where it gets serious, and we're not just talking drama. We're talking royal law. The royal rulebook, Nobody Breaks C, in the British monarchy, bloodlines aren't just about family. They're about power, titles, inheritances, and the right to rule all depend on proof of birth. Not rumor, not photographs, not press releases. Proof. There are centuries-old laws that decide who can and cannot sit on the throne. 4 of them are non-negotiable. Rule 1. The parents must be a man and a woman. Rule 2. They must be legally married in the Church of England. Rule 3. The child must be conceived naturally, not through surrogacy or adoption. Rule 4. 4. The baby must be born from the mother's body, verified by medical witnesses and recorded publicly. Now, Harry and Meghan, they check off the first 2 boxes easily. Man and woman, check married in a royal chapel? Definitely. But those last 2 rules, the ones about conception and birth, that's where the royal glitter starts to fade. Because if Lilibet wasn't conceived naturally or wasn't physically delivered by Meghan, then she legally cannot be in the line of succession. That's not opinion, that's royal law. And that's when the silence from Buckingham Palace started to feel deliberate. The investigation that rocked 2 countries. The whispers turned into an investigation. Quiet, cautious, but relentless. Journalists and insiders started following the paper trail themselves. One of them filed a formal request with California's Vital Records Office. Paid the fee. Waited. And after a few long weeks, the response came back. No record found. The investigator even made a phone call, exactly 25 minutes and 45 seconds long, and spoke with a state employee who confirmed it. California's birth code is always 104, never 105. That mismatch on Lilibet's certificate wasn't made up. It was real. Next, they turned to the UK. They sent a Freedom of Information request to the British Parliament, asking for the official birthplace of Archie and Lilibet. And guess what Parliament said? They couldn't confirm anything. They're not a hospital. They politely redirected the question to Buckingham Palace. But the palace? They're not legally required to respond to any FOI requests. They don't have to say a word, and they didn't. So across 2 countries, the United States and the United Kingdom, the same pattern appeared. Records missing, doors closed, questions unanswered. And as one source put it, when both governments stay silent and the palace refuses to show proof, it's not confusion anymore. It's a cover. That's when the whispers turned into suspicion. If the records don't exist, what exactly are they trying to hide? Theories begin to emerge. When investigators finally laid out all the pieces, the wrong code, the missing record, the vanished doctor, the palace's tight lips, 3 possible explanations came to light. The first one? The innocent theory, a clerical mistake. Maybe someone in the office just typed 105 instead of 104. It could happen, right? But let's be honest, we're talking about one of the most high-profile couples in the world. Every move they make is documented, checked, and double-checked. So if it was just an error, why not correct it? Why not release the updated, verified certificate and end the rumors? Why stay silent for years while the whispers grow louder and louder? Then came theory number 2, surrogacy or adoption. What if Meghan didn't deliver Lilibet herself? That would break royal rule number 4, the law that demands every royal child be born from the mother's body, with witnesses, under official record. If surrogacy was involved, it would explain everything. The fertility clinic connection, the disappearing doctor, the missing records. It would also mean Lilibet, and even Archie, if the same secrecy applied, might not legally be in line for the throne. And finally, the third theory, the darkest one, a cover-up, a deliberate decision made at the highest levels to keep the truth hidden, to protect not just Harry and Meghan's image, but the monarchy itself. Because the stakes aren't small here, they're massive. If the line of succession is even slightly uncertain, it could unravel centuries of royal law and legitimacy. So here's where things get really wild. By now, the whispers had turned into full-blown panic inside the royal walls. Behind the polished smiles and rehearsed laughter, the palace was cracking. Because if even one part of this Lilibet story was true, it didn't just question Meghan and Harry's honesty, and it threatened the monarchy's very core. Let's be clear, this wasn't just about a baby. This was about the line to the throne. The invisible thread that holds together centuries of royal blood, power, and legitimacy. Right now on paper, Archie is 6th in line, Lilibet 7th. That means that, theoretically, if fate took a tragic turn, those 2 California-born children could one day sit on the throne of England. The same throne that's been passed down through generations of carefully documented births and royal witnesses. Symbolic? A royal birth? Symbolic? Those words sent shockwaves through the entire royal-watching world. No one could prove it, but no one could deny it either. And with every unanswered question, the story grew. Because if this were all lies, why would everyone involved go silent? Why wouldn't they come forward proudly saying, "Yes, I delivered that royal baby. Here's the proof"? It's that silence that screams louder than words ever could. The 3 possibilities revisited. By this point, even royal insiders admitted privately that there were 3 possible truths. Either the palace finally breaks its silence, produces the real birth documentation, the medical witnesses, the hospital records, the doctor's verification, and clears the air once and for all. Or they continue to stay silent, and if they do, that silence becomes the answer itself. If those verifications fail, if the truth is what many suspect, then one of the most famous royal couples in history will have changed the line of succession forever. Lilibet was supposed to symbolize healing, a new beginning, a name that honored the past and embraced the future. But now, that name sits in the center of the biggest question mark in royal history. A single missing record, a single vanished doctor, a single wrong code on a single piece of paper. And suddenly, the story of a beautiful baby girl becomes the story of a system built on secrets. The truth may still be out there, hidden in sealed files, unspoken agreements, or quietly deleted documents. But one thing is certain: until the palace produces real proof, the doubts will never die. Because shadows don't disappear when you ignore them. They grow. And right now, this shadow doesn't just hang over Harry and Meghan, it hangs over the entire House of Windsor. And when silence replaces truth at the heart of a monarchy, that's not a fairy tale anymore. That's a secret, one powerful enough to change history.